Hi, Ragozzine here. Do you like my costume? I'll stand up later and show you the rest, but you can see my lovely robes and my hat and, of course, my hair. But this week, we're talking about the numerological theme for the week starting January? No, June 16th. Excuse me, I'm recording this on June 13th, which is Friday the 13th. So I've survived the zombie apocalypse with my magic hair and my super magic hat. But anyway, back to the theme of the week starting June 16th. This week, we're approaching the midpoint of the year, which will actually be next week. But of course, if we look at it from a time frame point of view, we have a week at either end kind of overlapping with similar energies. So this is the 25th week of 2014. So what does that mean? Well, it relates to looking within, and again, the number 7, which is the theme of 2014. So we have another week where we can look within and ask ourselves questions about what's important to us and why and how can we begin to answer our important life questions. It's up to you to find a way to follow your heart, follow its guidance, and figure out where it's leading you, to listen to it, to open up to your intuition and allow yourself the opportunity to listen to the guidance that you're receiving. And that's what we'll have time to reflect on this week as we come up to the midpoint, and the midpoint of the year is an excellent time to look back at what's been going on for the past 6 months in your life. What did you think about on January 1? What were you going to do differently this year versus last year? How were you going to approach your life in a different way? Did you make resolutions? How many of them are still being enacted upon, being lived? How many of them fell by the wayside? And we're not talking about labeling you as bad or wrong for not following through on them, but we're looking at a life review and saying, isn't it my chance now to make real and lasting changes in my life, if that's what I'm calling for, to go and do that? After all, you survived the zombie apocalypse. So what's the thing that's holding you back in making those changes? And perhaps you can set aside some time this week as we move into the midpoint of the year and then the latter half of the year in 2 weeks. You might spend some time in the coming week and next 2 weeks after that asking yourselves these questions. So what's calling me? How am I answering? And what's preventing me from answering? And you can word that in a way that's friendly to you. And I might just ask the question, what's next for me? What is my life leading me towards? What have I been building within my life that I'd like to see expanded, to expand out to the whole world? What does my voice want to speak to the world? And begin to find a way to speak it. It doesn't mean that you have to be a world-renowned public speaker. It could mean that you begin to say the things that are important to you to your family and friends. I like the commercial with the hamster in a wheel. I think it's one of the phone companies that have a hamster that's supposed to be the dad, and he calls it, they have a plan called Friends and Family. I'm reminded of that. But that's not here or there. It's just a little kind of funny thing that I'm remembering, and I'm trying to connect it to your family. It doesn't matter who they are. It's people that are important to you. So if you're not speaking what's in your heart to those people that are important to you, even if they are a little weird, um, again, do you like my hair? Um, then who will you speak it to? It has to start somewhere. So it's looking at what's important to you, and are you speaking this truth to the people that matter to you? Are you helping it to unfold and expand out to the rest of your life? It might not be that you'll ever be a world-renowned public speaker or whatever it is that you're called to do, but this is finding a way to speak and live the truth that's within your heart. And that's what you're being guided to do. And it might be that you do this in small steps, and that's okay. However, you can manage to take the walk of following that guidance, do that. And over time, there may be new people that step into your life to help with the process, but start where you are. It doesn't matter how silly you look or how stupid you look or how dumbfounded or whatever it is. We're not labeling the process. Don't label it. Have compassion for yourself and just do it. I mean, this kind of looks like a weird get up, and it's really all about tapping into that inner mystery and stop wondering why you feel pulled in a certain direction and begin to act on it and follow that guidance and see where it leads you. Have fun with it, and I hope that you begin to have revelations about that guidance. I know I have, and as I take my own walk, it's amazing that the people that show up and the opportunities that show up, and some even show up twice, so or more. So to look at how can I follow those opportunities, and when they show up again, you know they're important. So make sure that you're following your heart and following the guidance. Try not to be too dismissive of it. I just had an example today where I was thinking about taking a class, and I previously had thought I was a little too busy for it. And I still think that I am, but it's interesting that it was full, and now I'm getting a second chance to take it because it was offered to me again, and it's a neat way to explore your life and say, well, if it's coming back to me a second time, now what do I do? I have to reevaluate and look at my time for one, and to connect with my heart and see what it truly wants. And I had done that. I had done some dream work, and it just seemed like I would be burning the candle on both ends, as they say. But maybe I'll take a look at that from another perspective and report back next week on another dream that I have or a meditation that I do, and just see how I can best answer this question for me. So use this time in a reflection to begin to question those things that you're connected to, the choices that you're making, and find ways to slow down and go within. I hope this helped you to begin to make some new choices within your life, or at least to reflect a little differently. I'll talk with you again next week. Thanks for listening.